Hey guys, here again with a follow-up video. Hopefully, this time I can solve any of the issues you guys encounter trying to install the PPD. I'm gonna this time in this video show you from beginning to end how to set it up from scratch. For some people, zipping up my entire game works, and some people doesn't. So just make it more simple. I'm gonna show you how to start from the beginning to the end and answer a lot of the questions that people kept asking, such as why the macros don't work. And I now understand the order that you set up things really matter. So we're gonna just follow my steps this time exactly, and you should be good to go. I also provided some diagrams of how your setup should look like after. So as long as you follow my order, you should also have it working. So first step, we're just gonna install the base game. So you're just going to go to PPD, sign up an account. If you want to play multiplayer, you don't have to sign up an account to play, but you should. Some people have had problems registering because their servers got really flooded, but just keep trying. I just tried it like 2 hours ago and it let me create an account, so just keep trying. You'll get it eventually. Now, this is the base game. It just installs it in KHC, and then this is just the folders. We're just going to go into PPD. And this is right now the clean installation without any mods. So we're gonna first connect the DS4 controller and just get that set up first. This is the biggest reason why a lot of people couldn't get their controls working, because they set up their DS4 macros first and then they try to set up the in-game. It doesn't work that way. You need to set up the game's controls first and then you set up your DS4. So to set up DS4, again, I'll have the links in order that you need to be installing this. This is the DS4 software. When you download it, it's just simply a zip file with 2 files in it. And just make a new folder anywhere. I'm just going to make it in the KHC folder, and I'll just call it DS4, for example. And I'm just going to drag and drop it into there. And let's run the DS4 Windows exe. It's going to ask us where you want to save your profile. I'm just going to pick program folder, so it just saves in the same spot. And this is what the DS4 looks like. Now if you click on the controllers tab, if you don't have a controller plugged in, it's going to look like this. So you got to make sure you plug your PS4 controller in, and as long as you have the newer PS4 controller, the drivers should install automatically on Windows 7, 10, 8, whatever. And when it's installed, you'll see that your controller lights up blue, and you'll see in the controllers tab there's an ID of your controller, and you can change the colors like I said. So that's all we have to do for now. Don't edit anything. You're just having this set up by running the DS4 software and plugging your controller in and seeing the lights up. You can now use this controller to play any game on your PC, so even Steam games. But we want to use this for PPD, so let's go ahead and just minimize it. Don't close it. And minimize it down. Make sure you still see the DS4 software down here, so you know it's still running. Or an easy way to tell is if the light is not glowing anymore, you've closed the software. The light will always be glowing when it's connected and it's on. And let's go and launch the PPD game. So the very first time you want to set it up, you can configure the resolution. So just go into the config here, and where the heck's my mouse? Here it is. This is the default resolution. 450p, not very good, so let's change it. I play mine in 1080p, but you can choose whatever you like. If you want 720p, that's 1280 by 720, but 1080p is 1920 by 1080. And this is not a period, this is a comma. So if you accidentally delete this, make sure you type a comma again, because I saw someone, they thought it was a period and they put down period. So 1920 comma 1080, and we're just gonna OK. Let's go ahead and launch the game. It's going to ask you to sign in. If you don't have an account yet, don't worry, just press cancel. And by the way, that's just to remember your password up here, this box, if you check it. But even if you don't have an account, that's okay. Just press cancel and wait, and eventually the game will load. Come on, any second. There we go. So this is what the base PPD game looks like without any mods. It's saying, welcome, please set up your controls. Let's just go ahead and click next. And here's the controls. We're going to press change on all of these and match it on your controller. So this step you have to do first before you do anything else. Something very critical that I missed. I almost feel like I want to delete the old tutorial because it's just confusing people more. So my bad, but let's go ahead and do that. Square. You can see they don't match up with a PS4 controller, so that's what we gotta do. This X is X. It's just circle, triangle. Oops. Okay, yeah, triangle is 3. And then this is the D-pad. Left, up, right, up. Oh wait, what? Left, down, right, up. Okay. And then the R and L. What we're gonna do? You don't have to do it my way, but the way that we're going to do it is we're going to press change, and for the R, you're going to press down on your R3. So the right stick, the right joystick, push down on it, like into it. And it should be a 9 if you do it properly. So I don't mean tilt the stick, I mean push down on it. And for your L, you're going to push down on the left stick, and it should say 8. And start is the start options, I guess, on PS4, and home you could do the share. There we go. And let's carry on here. Next, setup was complete. Woohoo! And now you can verify again to navigate. This is on the first page. There's 4 pages. Remember, we set the slider. That's how you navigate between the pages. So if you press down on your sticks, that's going left. And you press right on your stick, like you push into the R3, you can navigate around. Now, here's one commonly asked question. Some people that have the game set up, whether they copy my files or whatever, when they try and get into the settings here and go and set up the controls, they see a whole bunch of boxes with like X's in them. They can't read this basically. If you have that issue, just do a clean installation and follow these steps, and then you should be fine. For some people, it fixed automatically just by restarting the computer. And for some people, it never fixed, but they figured out that if they just simply get to this menu here and just keep pressing the OK, so you press OK once, and you press OK one more time, you'll get to this screen anyways. So you have to get to this screen, because if you don't set up these controls, then that's where your mistake is, right then and there. But we have the control set up now, so we can close down PPD for now. And remember, this is the base game. There's no songs, there's no mods. Everything's gonna look bad on this game. So let's go ahead and download my zip file that I updated. I no longer include my entire game, just 2 folders you need from it. So ignore the skins. That one is missing files. That's why a lot of people, when they copy that, they got an error. So I'm sorry, I didn't think it through. So ignore the skins folder, and you're just gonna copy the mods and the songs over. So here's the mods, and here's the mods here. You can see the base game actually includes 2 mods for you already, CS Input and Black Movie. If you already have the game set up, everything's working fine, and the only problem you're having is your you can only use 4 buttons and not 8. It's because you did not enable the CS Input mod in the game, which I'll show you how to do once I get the game set up. But we'll just copy all the mods over, and sure, copy replaced, same thing. And we're gonna go into the songs folder, and same thing. Here's my songs folder for some with the 3 songs here, so you can test it out. Just gonna copy that in there, so we have 3 songs to test. And we can now verify that the game is working with your controller just fine. We're gonna launch the game again. Now, right now, thanks to the mods that we just copied over, your in-game gameplay will look like Feature Tone once you enable the mods. It's just that your main menu, like this menu right here, won't look quite as nice yet. So remember, to navigate, you're pushing down on your joysticks. We're gonna get to the game, press circle, and it should get you into the game here. And you see how the select screen looks like really low budget because we don't have the skin mod. I'm going to show you right after this how to install a skin mod from scratch so that it looks nicer, but for now you can actually start playing the game. But before you do that, first you're going to press square, go to the mod, and none of these mods are activated, so you have to activate them. So just turn them all on except the Black Movie. unless you don't want to see PBs when you play the game. And this is the most important one. If this one's not enabled, you cannot dual wield in this game. This one just adds sound effects that's different. If you disable it, you'll see the sound effects for your button noises is different. But I like it on. And these are all the things that make the gameplay look more like feature tone. So I'll demonstrate it. If I disable these 4, and let's just play News 39. You can see the bottom, the progress bar is really low budget, and at the top there is no HP bar, and even the notes that show up, it looks, you can tell, it doesn't look quite as nice. So we're gonna close it. One more thing, if you can't get the multi notes to have a line connecting them, it's not a mod. You just press triangle and turn on the connect, and now you can see the lines connecting them together. So that's how you get them to show up. That's under triangle, not square. There's 2 menus. I know it's a little bit confusing, but there's 2 of them. Alright, so we're gonna go back to mods. I'm gonna enable these 4 here, and if I show you now, you're gonna see News 39 is gonna look more like feature tone. There we go. See, we've got the HP bar that looks like feature tone at the top, and at the bottom we got the progress bar. And if we look at the notes, they look a lot more like feature tone. There we go. And you can now just add songs and start playing. But this does not allow you to play sliders yet with your joystick, and it does not allow you to play macros yet. So that's going to be the second part I'm going to show you. For now, we're going to close the game down again, and I'm going to show you guys how to add the skin. And I only recommend this if you have a mediocre to better computer. If you have a low budget laptop, I don't recommend adding the skin because it's just going to add more loading time to your game. So to add the skin, you're going to go to this website, which I'll link down below. It's the Exodus skin. There's a lot of skins, but this is just the one that I was given to me, and I was just stuck with it because I've been too lazy to try the other ones. So you just scroll down a little bit and just download the skin here. Once it's downloaded, again, it's just a zip folder, which looks like this. PPD Exodus. You can go into it, and there's the instructions, but you know, here's the PPD folder, and we're just gonna copy these 2 folders over and overwrite everything. Yes, to everything. And that's it. Now your game's main menu skin is gonna look different. So to confirm it, let me boot up the game one more time to show you guys. Cancel for now, since some people don't have accounts. And as you can see, it takes longer to load. So the intro looks a little bit different. This main menu looks different. Let's go into the game, and you'll see the song select screen has the skin added. Yep. So it looks a little bit less low budget. This one, the skin is just like I said for the main menu. It doesn't affect the in-game gameplay skin. That's affected by these mods right here. So if you don't care about the main menu skin and you need the game to load as fast as possible, then don't bother installing the skin. But that's just something extra. Alright, so we got the game installed completely. Now we're gonna set up the controls for the sticks and the macros. The best part. Now, I have a picture here. I'll link this in the description. I also added in the original tutorial video. When you have everything completely set up, it should look exactly like how this picture diagram looks. This is the DS4 software. Everything should look exactly like this when you're done. And this is the X mouse button. This is going to be the macro setup. And this is the in-game PPD controls, which we already went through and done it through together, so it should look like this now when you're done. I think I didn't do the start and home though when I took the screenshot, but that's not a big deal. Alright, so how this works, I'll explain it real briefly. This X mouse macro, when you set mouse button 5 to this HJKU, you're basically telling the computer, when I press down mouse button 5, I want you to press the letters HJKU all at once for me. And why HJKU? Because in PPD, HJKU is the 4 face buttons. So now when you press down on mouse button 5, it's going to actually press these 4 letters, which PPD will recognize as these 4 buttons right here. And here, where's mouse? Yeah, as these 4 buttons right here. And how are we doing that? Well, we're going to, in the DS4 software, tell it so that when I press down on R2, it's going to actually press the 5th mouse button 5. So you can see this is like a little train. They all work together so that your macro works. It all starts from the DS4. You press down R2, DS4 says, okay, R2 is actually mouse button 5. So the mouse button 5 then is activated here in your Xmouse software, and it's saying, oh, okay, mouse button 5, I need to press HJKU. So you'll see if you open up WordPad and you press down on your trigger, you're going to see it's going to type HJKU for you. And in the game, PPD, it's going to register that right here. So that's how macros work. So you can customize this to however you like. You can do triplets, so just do HJK, that's square, X, and circle. So you customize this however you like. This is my more updated macro because now you see I added 2 more for my R1 and L1, so I could do double macros here too, which is how I have it set up in the feature tone. But here's the diagram, and I'm going to do it right now here so we can verify that it goes smoothly. So we're going to open the DS4 and we're going to open the Xmouse software. Okay, we'll do the macro here first. So let's bring out my diagram so we can just match it up real fast. Okay, so here's my Xmouse software. See, by default it's all no change, so we're going to change it all. So Xmouse button 5, we're going to simulate the keys. We're going to type in HJKU, and very important right here, you need to make sure that this is set to number 3. Okay. Why do we set to number 3? Don't ask me, just do it, otherwise it's not going to work. Simulated keys, now this one is going to be ASDW for the arrows, and number 3. So ASDW and number 3. Okay. And middle mouse button is now going to be square triangle, which is HU. And number 3. And okay. And the right button, I'm out of buttons here, so if you do change the right button, your right click will no longer work until you come back into the Xmouse software and change it back to no change. So just a heads up. It's not that big a deal, it's just a right click, but if you really need to use right click again, you got to come back in here and change this back to no change. So simulated keys, this one's going to be JK, number 3. Okay, and very important, press apply. There we go. So you will see now, if I press right click, see, it's typing JK for me. If I press, oh, well, my mouse doesn't have mouse button 5, but if I press middle click, see, it's typing HU. And now that we got the macro set up, we can just minimize the X mouse button. And let's go to the DS4 software now. We're almost done. We're going to press edit. Okay, here it is. We're going to copy all these so that it matches this exactly on my picture right here. Yeah, the only thing I didn't mention last, I talked a little bit about it, but the sensitivity right here for your sticks, make sure you set this to 0.5. Because at 1.0 it's too sensitive. Your sliders, when it's really fast, you can get wrongs. But I found out if you just set it to half the sensitivity, 0.5, it works pretty much just as good as feature tone. Like I was like slamming the sticks really rough, and it was not doing a double input anymore, which would mess up the fast sliders that come up. So make sure you set that right there, LS and RS, and then just copy all the options here to this exactly the same. So I'm going to do it really fast here because I didn't want this video to be too long, and it's already 20 minutes. God damn it. Okay, so L1 is the middle mouse button, R1 is the right mouse button, L2 is the fourth mouse button, and R2 is the fifth mouse button. L3, that's right. We're going to disable the touch. Let's go to Unbound. we're going to disable all the up and down stick motions so that they don't screw you up when you try and do really fast sliders. So LS up and down, disable that, and RS up and down, disable that, and the LS left, we're going to make it the right here, as you can see. Left stick left is actually your left button, and left stick right is your right button. So here's the left D-pad, and there's the right D-pad. It's because left and right, the D-pad also works as a slider in PPD, so that's why we set up one of the sticks to be that. And for the other stick, the right stick, we're going to set it up as how we set it up in the game here, when you push down on R3 and L3. So this one is RS. Oh, sorry, this one is to the left, so this one we need to set up to this one here, L3, and to the right, RS. And the rest we have it unassigned. And last but not least, make sure it's very important, you save the profile. Also, make sure you're doing this, because if you've been following my steps step by step, you're modifying all of this while the game is closed. Don't do this when the game is open, because the changes will not reflect the same when the game is still open. So we got that saved. Gonna minimize it down. So we got the X mouse pad running down here, the DS4 running down there. Let's go ahead and boot the game up again. And if you did everything properly, when you get into the game, to navigate the menus left and right, use your right joystick and it should work. There we go. Excellent. Let's go into the game. Alright, let's do this one here. So I'll turn the game volume up so you guys can hear that it's actually working. Ow, my elbow. Okay, so I know it's working because if you push on your sticks, both sides, you'll hear the inputs. Yep. See? Both sticks I pressed, I heard the inputs, everything's being registered. If you have any more questions, just leave a comment down below and I'll see if I can answer it. If you ask a question that I answered in this video, I will not answer it then. Alright, hopefully that helps you guys, and have a good day.